In today's world, school isn't just about attending class. School is where we learn about the world around us, make friends, figure out who we are, and take our first steps toward becoming the amazing adults we are meant to be. Hi, my name is Chloe, and I am a student in grade 7. I was born with a spinal cord injury that affects how I can move my body, so I use my power wheelchair to get around. My body might work a bit differently, but I'm still just like any other kid. And guess what? There are thousands of other kids in Ontario, just like me, who have different disabilities. Some have physical differences, some think differently, and some might face challenges with seeing or hearing. We all have hopes and dreams, and we want to come to school for the same reasons. But you see, for kids like me and the thousands of others across Ontario, school needs to be a little different. It needs to be accessible and inclusive. Why? Because we deserve the same opportunities as everyone else. We want to learn, play, and dream big just like you do. That's why accessibility and inclusion in schools are so important. It's about making sure that everyone, regardless of their abilities, can have the same chances to succeed, and we can all do our part to help make our school environments more welcoming and inclusive for every single student. The first step is learning why accessibility and inclusion matters so much. So I'd like to introduce you to my friend Shamil, who will share his experience with us.
My name is Shamil. I'm in grade 10. I go to John Fraser Secondary School. I'm a big chemistry person, and the chemistry lab is on the upper floor, it's on the second floor. So having the elevator so that I can go upstairs to the lab is a big part of my social interaction, because I can go into the lab, meet people with my same interest so that I can make new friends, see new things, and learn new experiences. Everybody can see how independent I am. But yeah, sometimes they will not ask if I want help, and they'll just jump in and help. So that's something I have to clarify myself a lot. That like, hey, if I need help, I'll let you know. You don't need to jump in prior to me asking. When I graduated in 2022 from grade 8, the school was so great. We had to go up on stage, and I was wondering, how was I gonna get up on stage? So I was thinking maybe the teacher was gonna come down from the stage, and maybe I was gonna go to the side, and maybe he'll just hand me my diploma and we're gonna take my pictures. But what I didn't know was that Thomas Street Middle School had actually arranged an elevator so that I could go up on the stage and get my diploma, get it from my teacher, shake his hand, and be with all my peers. So that is something I'll never forget, and I will forever be grateful. In my experience, educating people has been the most helpful way. So what they can do is host seminars or host events where they can teach kids and teens about disabilities and different types of disabilities and how to behave around them, how to be patient, how to give them space, like not to block the hallways or like to bump the kids, because they're kids, you know. So how to behave in a way that's acceptable. I think the reason why it's so important to have accommodation for kids with disabilities is because we want to be like every other kid. We don't want to feel left out. We want to be like the able-bodied. We don't want to have the barrier between disabled and able-bodied. We want to be one so that we can feel included, be one ally, and we can make lifelong friends and lifelong memories at school. Accessibility might seem like a huge task, but start with the small thing, like seeing if the automatic buttons work, see if there are ramps in place that needs to be ramped, see if the elevator is working. The small steps make the greater difference.
Thanks, Shamil. As a person with a disability, it can be difficult to function in a world that isn't designed for how your mind or body work. For kids like Shamil and me, we might need things like ramps, sign language, or extra support to participate in school. It's like getting the right tools to play a game. Everyone should have the tools they need to join in and enjoy the fun. And that's where equity comes in. Equity is about making sure that everyone has a fair shot, even if they need different tools or adaptations. It's like making sure the game is fair for everyone, no matter their abilities. So when we work together to make our schools accessible and inclusive, we're not just helping kids with disabilities, we're creating a fair and equal playing field for all students. And that's something pretty amazing. Now, let's keep learning about what we can do to make our schools welcoming and inclusive spaces for students of all abilities. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Horlane.
My name is Horlane. I'm currently in my first year of college. The most effective way to achieve inclusion and accessibility through my experience has just been like constantly shining a light on it so that it doesn't become something that, okay, I talk about it once and then I'm gonna, make an effort and then all of a sudden it's gone. Like, remember that this is an issue that can only be solved when people come together and people decide to make a conscious effort to drive towards greater change. I think it really, again, does take a lot of time. The biggest thing is like the willingness to listen to the people who have the information and the willingness to say, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't know this information, but I'm going to make a conscious effort to make sure that this is something that we strive towards. Throughout my years and stages of education, I have definitely experienced misconceptions about my disability, and as like someone who lives with a disability, I've had certain experiences like teachers don't even address me with certain questions, assuming that, I can't respond for myself. I had one instance where I was told that there was no way that I could do a certain assignment because it looked too good for someone like me to do it. In terms of addressing situations like this, I feel like it's just all about finding a way to speak up and say, I am much more than my disability in whatever shape or form that it is, and if I have to do things a little differently, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be successful in the end. I think teachers may not know how to address a student who has a disability of any kind. Seeing students with disabilities in their classrooms shouldn't be like such a shock. Understanding that people with disabilities are also capable of being in a classroom with other people and capable of succeeding in education. Some people say like the chair that's the problem, or the walker that's the problem, or whatever it may be, but in reality it's the environment. Having an education is a basic human right for every single person, and it shouldn't be that we eliminate a certain group of people because, oh, they don't fit with society standards of whatever normal is. And it just takes a little bit of the willingness to open your ears and your eyes to listen to the people who have the information to give you, to make sure that you are making your environment the most welcoming and safe place for all people.
Thanks, Arlene. Now, let's take some time to hear from Grayson and his mom, Linda, to learn about how we can support students with disabilities.
My name is Linda Cluche. My youngest son's name is Grayson. He's 8 years old and he attends James R. Henderson Public School. He is in grade 3. Grayson has a rare chromosome disorder. So it is a deletion of his 15th chromosome inherited from mom. So that is called Angelman syndrome. He has seizures. He's nonverbal and does not have the ability to walk on his own. With the devices that Grayson has, and he's very lucky that he has quite a few options to choose from, this allows him to not only attend school, but to actually participate in school, just like his peers. As a parent, you're always feeling, oh my gosh, the wheelchair is going to be so cumbersome, or the stroller and what you have to do to set it up, or transferring him from one, because you have to be very careful. And everybody makes everything so fun, but when you have a special needs child, you're always wanting to ensure that they have every tool accessible to them. There have been many times where I'll just get a phone call or an email saying, can you sign off on this? We're getting Grayson this new piece of equipment, which is just incredible to know that they're moving along with him. He's got support in the school, the OTs, the PTs, they make it happen. I think one that definitely resonates is Special Olympics. He got to go and perform in his first Special Olympics last year, which was incredible, and he got to perform in every single event. There wasn't anything that he was excluded from. He had the most incredible day. And then for me to see him coming to that finish line, being supported by the right people to ensure that my son could get to the finish line was just incredible. And he got his first ribbons, and we look forward to all the other Special Olympics that he'll be able to go to. I think the fact that Henderson does not mandate that children like Grayson have to go into a special room, that these children have choices to be included in their classroom with their peers, it allows there not to be that stigma of asking questions. Children at a young age need to know why their friends are different. Why does Grayson need a wheelchair? And this school allows that safe space to have those conversations, so children are being educated on the importance importance of accessibility and what that means for their friends like Grayson. We are very lucky and grateful to be in a time and an age where inclusion is part of everyday language. Accessibility is something that we have come so far and still have ways to go, but it's there. You know, you're always quick to be like, don't point. That boy's in a wheelchair, don't point. Well, it's okay to have the conversations, have parents talk to their kids, make it part of everyday language. It's having those conversations far more frequently at home. And as parents, as adults, we have to remember to be respectful. So that is part of our language that we're teaching our children.
It's really important that we all act as allies to students with disabilities. Being an ally means making sure that no one feels left out, helping when needed, and creating a school where everyone belongs and feels valued. Being an ally could be as simple as asking your classmate if they need help carrying heavy books, or reaching something up high, or changing the rules of a game so your friend using a wheelchair or a walker can join in. Teachers and school staff can be allies too. They can plan class activities that everyone can participate in, provide special resources to students with disabilities, or take time to educate their class about why it's important to include everyone. They can also make sure that the school has accessible features like automatic door openers, elevators, or braille signs to make it easier for students with disabilities. To learn more about being an ally, I would like to introduce you to Miss Ainsley. She is a teacher who knows the importance of inclusion and goes the extra mile to make sure all students feel welcome.
I'm Maggie Ainsley, and I am an educator with the Halton District School Board. For the last 14 years, I've had the privilege of working in elementary schools. Becoming an advocate and an ally did come later in my career, and it came from a personal connection with somebody very close to me that lives with a disability. Creating classrooms that are inclusive and accessible for all students is so important in our own capacity of being flexible and adaptable for our students. You know, prior to the school year starting, we hope to be thinking about what the different challenges or obstacles some of our students may face coming into the classroom. And I think my biggest learning has been, if there is a need for something to be changed, really being open to those changes and allowing our students to be a part of that building of inclusivity and providing opportunities to have changes made in the classroom. The biggest piece of advice I would give to colleagues or other educators around becoming allies and advocates, what's really important and essential, especially to support our families that have kids with disabilities, is get to know your learner's backpack. And if we know that we have a student that is, coming up to the next grade where some changes in our classrooms need to be made or accessibility really brought to the forefront, have those crucial conversations with your colleagues so that we can alleviate some of the stressors for parents prior to the school year. Consider the obstacles or the challenges that some of our students with disabilities might face, and then really be open to making changes and to providing new opportunities for learnings or field trips.
Thank you, Ms. Ainsley. Being an ally is important because it fosters a sense of belonging and ensures that no student feels isolated or left out. It's like building a big supportive team where everyone's skills and strengths are valued, making our school community stronger and better. So let's remember that we can all be allies to students with disabilities, working together to make our schools truly accessible, inclusive, and awesome places for everyone. Together, we can ensure that every student has the chance to shine and reach their full potential. Now let's recap the actions you can make to make a difference. Start the conversation. Talk to your classmates, teachers, and school administrators about the importance of accessibility and inclusion. Share your thoughts and ideas on how your school can become more welcoming for everyone. Be an ally. In your everyday life, be kind to those around you. Offer help when needed, stand up against bullying, and actively include everyone in your activities. Small gestures can make a big difference. Educate yourself. Learn more about different disabilities, adaptive technologies, and inclusive practices. Knowledge is a powerful tool in creating a more inclusive and understanding community. Advocate for change. If you notice areas where your school can improve in terms of accessibility, don't hesitate to bring them to the attention of teachers, administrators, or your school board. Remember, it's not just about what we've learned today. It's about what we can do tomorrow. Let's take action, educate ourselves, and keep working towards making our schools the best they can be. By doing that, we'll create a brighter future for all, where every student can learn, grow, and succeed. So, what will you do to make a difference? It's up to you to be a part of this positive change. The future is in our hands, and it looks bright when we stand together for accessibility and inclusion.